Hey guys, welcome back to CG Productions. This your boy CG, and today we're going to do a review on the Carvera by Makera. Alright guys, so this is something new to the channel. And I know I've been MIA for a while, just been working on some transitioning things and kind of expanding my business at the same time. So when things get fully back up, it's going to be a lot of content that comes out. It's just, I feel like I'm kind of at that boring part right now, you know what I mean? So it's not really like anything that will be interesting to film. So, but now we got this new machine in, figure, hey, you know, let's add it to the channel. And normally on this channel we do audio and video, but now we're doing machining as well. So all this stuff kind of plays a part with it, with each other, and they're all relative. So, but let's get into it. So, the Carvera machine it's an automated desktop CNC machine, which means that it does its own, tool changing based off of your G-code program. So it has a 6 tool pick line and then also a probe. So it'll do all the probing and everything, changing the tools and everything all on its own. Now, for me personally, I'm a novice at this. Though I feel like I've gotten pretty good with it. Right now I'm running a what I like to call laser painting. That's gonna be in another video. But thought it'd be cool to see the machine move around while you know, doing the video. But again, I'm a novice at this. This is technically my second machine, but the first machine that I've actually used. My first machine was a 3018 Sane Smart. I literally turned it on once, and the probing was just beyond me at that point. I didn't feel like learning the probing. That was part of what I wanted in a machine, and the Carvera provided that with the automated tool change and the probe, which also kind of like it allowed me to kind of learn in reverse from doing jobs and seeing how the machine works itself. And then, so now I probably wouldn't have a problem with doing all the probing and everything with a machine that's not automated in this way. So it has a 3-axis mill, and it also has a 4th-axis rotary attachment. So you can do pretty much whatever you want to do on this machine within the parameters of the space. You can mill things like wood, epoxy, PCBs, aluminum, plastics, and a lot of those things you end up doing through the example projects. I wanted to do kind of like a video on the example projects, but Carvera or Makera has already put out a video doing those projects. So, and a lot of other people are going to kind of do the same thing, and I don't want to regurgitate too much of the same information, but it just, you know, some things need to be said just for context. It also has its own vacuum system, which I'm not running right now because I'm using a laser, and also with the powders that I'm using, obviously the vacuum system would just pull it up off of the cards. It has a air assist function as well. This plastic tube that's over here. I haven't figured out quite how it's supposed to work. You do have to get your own air pump. I don't know if the one that I have is actually, I don't know if it's putting out enough PSI for it to activate, or I don't know what the issue is with it. But it does have that function on there, and I guess I'll find out here in a day or so how to activate it for myself. That's another thing with this machine is the support. They have the YouTube channel, they have the Facebook page, and there's a Discord group, which you can communicate directly with the company, that's something I really like, especially for something like this being off of a Kickstarter project. I waited about 1.5 years to get this machine, but now they are in production, so you can actually order this machine now, just obviously not at the Kickstarter price. I do wish that at the time that I was doing the Kickstarter that I got, 2 of these same machines. But the thing is that I didn't know exactly if it was going to be another kind of Sane Smart situation where I used it and it didn't work out for me. So even still with the Kickstarter, it was a little chunk of money. So other thing I want to talk about, what comes in the package is again, like it's kind of like this is going to be the same things. They have all pretty much out of the box. They have everything you need to start milling the example project. So they send you all your end mills, you have your tools, you have your clamps, you have all your positioning dowels, you have the safety glasses. They give you the manual, which takes you through some of the the controller settings and everything. And I mean, it's ready to go out of this. It's a turnkey machine pretty much. And they also give you extra bits. When it does come to the controller, so the machine itself is very well built, very well thought out. So that's gonna, you could take the machine at face value. It works like a dream. The only issues you're gonna get with this is due to software between the controller and your G-code. So for other people who may be novices to this or beginners to this, one of the things you gotta understand, especially with a machine that's automated and that does its own automated task, is that whatever programming you have in this machine is gonna be in the machine until you introduce new programming. Even turning this machine off and turning it back on, it's not going to erase any of the parameters in it. It's still gonna be the same thing. So you can technically just pick up a job with the same kind of settings, even if say for instance, your lights go out or whatever like that, which is a good thing, but also it's something to kind of watch out for. You have with the software, just just some of the general things with the software. You have a manual control board here that you can use to move around each of the axes. Then also you have what they have is a config run menu where you can set your XY offset. So say for example, everything isn't going to be at X0 and Y0. You can position it to exactly where you want the machine to mill or laser. And then you also have what I really like is the scan margin. So in the probe, there's a low power laser in the probe where it'll actually scan the outside borders of the tool pad. So what that means is it's gonna let you know how far out at the edge of your tool, how far out that's gonna go. So and that should include any kind of pass extensions or anything like that. And it also has auto leveling, so which is really good for tasks like this where it's like cutting out the pockets on this card template that I made. Also, when you go to PCB milling for line traces, so that you have the same depth on your lines across your PCB board, you can set whatever points you want, and it'll literally go and make note of what the level is at each point, so that when it gets there on a trace or something like that, it'll know that it needs to go either deeper or more shallow to compensate for the levelness of the board. So I haven't had too many issues with this. Like I said, a lot of the issues that I've had have to do with the actual software. So, you know, and being that, like I said, this is kind of like version 1 of the software, and some of the firmware things. Initially, I did have like a little issue with connecting to the machine, but I had some help from the Discord community to actually get this get connected to the machine. There was an issue where the first machines come out with the, you know, older software, or firmware, and the firmware needed to be updated, but you couldn't connect to it through Wi-Fi because of, like, there was an issue with if you had a space in your Wi-Fi name, so it would read it very weird, so you couldn't connect to the machine. In that case, I had to connect to the USB port through to my computer, but there's a specific way to do that too. You can't just connect from, I think if you have the USB type A on your computer, then it's fine that you can run it straight to the computer. But if you have a USB type C computer, you have to go through a USB type A hub, and then you can connect the hub to via USB-C. And then it connected, and once I got it on the internet and and on my network and updated the firmware, everything was good to go. So, and I haven't had really, you know, any issues with. I have had a couple like issues where it would disconnect. There's sometimes where the machine will just like go offline itself, and you have to literally like do the main power on-off switch to get it to come back online. But it's not been anything that has stopped me from running stopped me more than a minor inconvenience. I really love this machine. It's for me as a beginner, as a novice in CNC milling and everything, like it really makes it where I feel like I have the confidence to run whatever kind of programs that I want to run. I've learned a lot of things about looking at my trace paths and everything like that with CAM and everything, so that I can make sure that before I put any program into this machine, that it's not going to damage the machine or whatever it is that I'm milling. So and that's one of the things I say again for people who are beginning in CNC machining. This is probably one of the best machines to get to learn, to just get to the task. You know what I mean? So like I said, the whole tool changing and probing, I didn't want to deal with any of that. But now that I've seen how the machine does it and how it operates, I know a lot more. So it's almost like this machine being automated taught me how to use the ones that are not automated. So I may end up getting some cheaper machines just to run along with this one, but this will probably be, you know, my main machine for some, you know, more complex tasks and everything. Again, there's things with the software where I feel like just some not necessarily issues, but some improvements that I feel like should be made. So like in the run config menu, when you pull it up, there's a kind of a template of the work area, but I like to work on grids so that I know exactly, like even when I'm doing my offset, like to see on that grid that reflects the surface area, I kind of have more confidence of where my cut is going, my tool path is going, because especially when and I'll do this in another video with the manual tool changing, because I haven't seen anybody put that video out yet, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do a manual tool change. But especially with manual tool change or manual bit, the bit that I have is a surfacing. It's a surfacing mill, so with the diameter so large on it, like you really need to see where the tool path, where it's going to travel, and be very like precise on where that goes, because it can damage things. It can very quick. So that's one of my things that I feel like needs improvement. Also, when you abort jobs. So say for instance, if I were to abort this job right now and say I tell it to go, or say I started another job and its homing point is at the X0, Y0. What'll happen is if the head is already down, say if it was in a piece that I'm milling already, it'll drag through the piece and it won't stop until until it reaches the right resistance to stop, or you actually hit the stop button. So that's one of the things that like I feel like is an issue where like it definitely needs to know what if there's an abort, the very next command, even if there's an abort, it should be some kind of prompt or something. Cause like, yeah, there's times where I've aborted and I don't want it to automatically go raise the Z height up to a safe height, because it could be in a kind of compromised position to where like I need to manually move the head around and get it into a safe zone. But if I go to restart a job, or if I go to start another job or restart that job over, to definitely go to a safe height before it goes to its 0 point and goes to probing and all that stuff. Again, with the oversized tool changing, I feel like there needs to be like an actual process in the controller for manual tool changes, because they only give you have 6 tools, but if it doesn't fit in this picking line here, then you have to do that manually. And I would just from a safety standpoint, like I just wouldn't like to see someone get hurt trying to do a manual tool change. So I think there needs to be some kind of process that they designate a certain spot, and then like there's prompts to like tell people how to actually insert the tool and at what length to insert it or whatever. If they have collets or whatever, then that'll actually help out without having to guess how much the tool needs to be inserted into the mill head. So on what I have upcoming on this is one, I want to show you guys how I kind of figured out the laser painting. I did want to call it laser printing, but it's more laser painting in the form that I'm doing it. It's still something that I'm tweaking, but there's little things that I've kind of figured out, because different colors work differently, and you got to be really careful because you will burn the paint, and obviously that wouldn't result in a good product. I have some aluminum projects that I'm going to be doing that I'm going to do videos on. One is on the 4th axis, which I'm excited for, but I'm scared at the same time, but hopefully all goes well. I've already milled this part before using wood, and that's what I would recommend to you guys who aren't experienced with working with metals and stuff like that, like to mill these things in a wood form or a plastic or whatever like that before you get to metal, because I mean, even with a plastic, I mean, really with any of it, there's really not too much room for error, but there's less of a catastrophe with wood versus metal. So I would definitely recommend using something softer than metal before you get into trying to mill aluminum. Really, overall, I'm super impressed with this machine. I'm super impressed with the Makera team. Like this is my next step in life right here. This machine is what's going to take me to that next level. Just with the things that I want to do. And the funny thing is everything I'm doing, all the videos that I'm going to be putting out isn't even what I got this machine for. I actually got this machine for PCB milling, but it's such an easy kind of thing for me picking up the 3-axis and how to do, you know, just 3-axis task that like I didn't concentrate on that so much. I'm more concentrated on the laser and the 4th axis. And I'll kind of give some tips on what I've done because like I may do like a whole like beginner series, like beginner advice from a beginner, because I've had to learn a lot of things that like someone who's been doing this for 20 years, like they automatically know, and they may not, you know, think to say certain things because certain things end up becoming like kind of common sense for them. But for me, none of that stuff is common yet. So now I'm in my learning process with CNC milling. And I think that with me doing, using this as something that as a professional, I'm going to be doing like the things that I do are going to have to be, you know, perfect from the design to milling. So figuring out how to do that and how to put the correct tool paths and all that stuff, that's a lot for, I think, a beginner to kind of get the grasp around. But also it's intimidating when you haven't done it before. But being that I've gone through the process, I can, and as a beginner of somebody just newly discovering something, like I can tell you everything that all the mistakes that I made getting to the point to where that I can actually mill a part successfully. But hey, that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. This machine is amazing. It's a beast. I mean, I really only have good things as far as like being able, nothing about this machine has ever stopped me from doing any job. It's just figuring out how to make the machine accept it the right way. And, you know, when it doesn't, figuring out what the issue is in that process, and either notifying the team at Makera, or, you know, it's something that the user has to do. But I've had a great experience. This is actually my first month with it, so this will be my 1 month review right now. So we'll probably wait a few more months and see if anything's come up to where I can do another video on it. But again, this is your boy CG. Welcome back to CG Productions. To all my new subscribers, welcome to CG Productions. And hey, we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. I applaud you guys for hanging in with me, because I have been MIA for years. And yeah, that's crazy to say, and you guys have just still been subscribing. I have been commenting, like, so if you put a comment on any of my videos, I'm likely to respond to that comment. So I have been active in that way. I just haven't been putting out videos because I've just, like I said, I've been in this whole transition period, and it's just, I just feel like this is the boring stuff, and nobody really wants to see the boring stuff because it kind of doesn't always lead to anything, you know what I mean? So but hey, again, this is your boy CG. Thank you for all the subscribers. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. You got any questions or anything like that, or if there's anything specific you want to see, leave it in a comment. But until next time, it's your boy CG, and I'm out.